the last time. When I came in here, this was white.
You must have done something to it.
I must have done something to it. Well, let's go and have a look, shall we?
I see. Hang on.
This is your machine, right? So it's your problem. These togs are hock an hour. They cost 200 quid. So what are you going to do about it?
You'll have to fill in a form.
What for?
You've got to come into the office.
Oi, where are you going?
There you go.
Thanks.
However, much to the disappointment of the home crowd, the goal was disallowed by referee Alistair McKenzie. George continued to gain selection throughout the 70s, despite his fluctuating form and off-field indiscretions. His international career came to an end in 1977. George's hard-partying lifestyle and off-field exploits were almost as famous as his actions on the pitch. He represented a new kind of football star. With his brooding looks, priceless talent and extravagant off-field life, he became a regular in the newspapers and tabloids. He not only appealed to football fans but to the wider public, who were fascinated by the goings-on in his private life. He was a marketing goldmine, with all kinds of merchandise from t-shirts to mugs sporting his face. At his peak, fans from all over the world were sending in as many as 10,000 letters a week. He played hard and partied harder. But as many a rock star has found out, sooner or later, the lifestyle catches up with you. George's drinking became a problem. It caused him to be late to training, which got him into trouble with longtime coach Sir Matt Busby. Those in charge at Manchester United became increasingly frustrated with his erratic behaviour.
Can you tell us why it all came undone when it looked so good at one time? I spoke to you just before you joined us, and you seemed very happy with it all.
Well, George Best will be going back to Manchester by car later tonight. At lunchtime tomorrow, he says he'll be going to see the boss, who's Sir Matt Busby. He's going to phone him at the Cliff, which is United's training ground, to arrange this meeting with him.
With his future hanging in the balance, George apologised to Matt Busby.
Not only in saying he's sorry, he's prepared to make a gesture of good intent by agreeing to the conditions that I've laid down this morning.
Do you feel he has been under considerable pressure in the last few weeks or not? Are there genuine pressures on him?
He has had some problems, yes, and I've been trying to help him with those, but they tend to get on top of George more than anybody else, and instead of facing them, he tends to opt out a little bit. This is something that's part of George, and it's something he's aware of, and something that we must try and continually help him to overcome. And he doesn't wish to leave Manchester United either. He wants to continue playing for Manchester United.
After going back on a decision to leave the club, he returned to training with his teammates, hoping to reclaim his old form. However, he was never able to recapture it. George should have been reaching his prime, but with so much going on off the field, such as a spiralling gambling problem, he never appeared fully committed. His club and the rest of the world would soon discover that far from being behind him, his troubles were only just beginning. Back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, he was charged with drink driving, disappointing the many fans who had hoped to see their hero back in form on the pitch. It wasn't to be. George's focus was by now far removed from football. Instead, his biggest concern became avoiding a prison sentence. He professed his remorse to the court and the cameras.
Well, obviously,
alcohol-related illness in 1978. Unfortunately, George didn't learn from his mother's mistakes, and despite his best efforts, he copped a jail sentence for the drink-driving charge. After his release from prison, he explained to the media that he had paid for his crimes and wanted that to be the end of it, though he still felt he'd been treated harshly.
I did something that was wrong, and I had to pay for it. I think I was punished a little bit heavy, but as I say, not a very pleasant experience. But it's all behind me now. It's over and done with, and hopefully I'd like to think I've learned a little bit from it.
In 1974, George left the club, where he made all his fortunes and earned his reputation. After worsening form due to his alcoholism and other off-field exploits, he left Old Trafford a shadow of the former hero who joined the club at 17. Despite reneging on a previous decision to leave the club, this time there would be no second thoughts.
Yes, you've had a night to think about it. You're still definitely quitting football?
Yes, definitely, yeah. I made a decision, and that's it, yeah.
You went back on that decision once?
Yes, well, I explained that in the letter I wrote to the board, why I came back. A lot of people had asked me, and I reconsidered it and thought I'd have another go, but it just didn't work out. So this one is final.
After 11 years, George Best and Manchester United finally parted ways. For more than a decade at Manchester United, he'd enjoyed incredible highs and endured staggering lows. He was a favourite son, but he had wandered down a dangerous path, and in the end, he strayed too far from the fold.